All right. Fucking Brad left already. God damn it. Fuck him. He's like that. I'm out. Richie, it's just you, bud. It's just you. It's just you, man. Hello, gentlemen.
What's up, Jerm?
What's up,
Not
man?
not much. Well, everything. We live in the most amazing, incredible times, and if there's an old curse, it says it's like the curse is may you live in interesting times. Okay, that's the old curse they used to put on people because we do live in interesting times, and I want to be talking to the most interesting human beings I know. I couldn't find those people, so I got you guys.
Why, thanks, Jerm.
You
We
guys,
tried. We
C
tried.
team, C team, B team. They didn't. I got C team. Okay,
JV.
just like it grades.
Do you remember when Brad? We were actually joined football the first year of high school, but we were too damn small,
Oh
and
my
we wanted
gosh.
so bad to get on
Yeah.
varsity, but we weren't even close. So we were on the JV, but then literally we were living the Rudy story, literally. And then Leo Lovato, the first string running back, who was the meanest, baddest motherfucker, and they put a pair of cleats on him. He took off his motorcycle boots that he used to kick people's face in, and they put him in some cleats. And he was just like, he was like beast mode before there was beast mode. And then they fucking put Brad right in front of Leo Lovato because they were like telling everybody, they were all like, you see these guys are tough. You see them? And then
The
after
heart
that,
of Rudy.
yeah. And then after that, all those fucking first stringers were like, they're gonna fucking knock our dicks in the
Oh
dirt.
my god.
And Brad, it was like slow motion. We were like playing. It was like, oh yeah, yeah. And they gave that ball to Leo Lovato, and he took off like a train. It was like, hand him the ball, and then Brad is like right in the hole. Me. He literally ran Brad over. That's why he's like that, dude.
CTE. We figured it out.
We know.
CTE. Good job,
It
Brad.
was. I tried. All
You're
I
a
remember,
trendsetter.
I got up. I got up and I was like, "Who wants some more of that?" The whole team was like, "I'll take him."
I can't. You guys actually joined football. I cannot believe that. I don't remember that at all. I wanted to join football. Yeah, no, that's freaking. That's cool. So, did you guys last the whole season, or?
Yeah, we did. They played as one game.
Yeah, that's true.
They played as one game, one play in the last game of the year.
You
And
got.
they threw a touchdown on me. My God, they threw a
And
touchdown
yeah,
to my
and
guy.
this guy scored.
I was in there one game and I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Because like they didn't throw any passes like all game. And then the last
They're like, oh, they put that guy in.
They're like,
I mean, it's not like we were
comes.
almost winning or had a chance to win. We were getting our asses handed to us the whole time. So,
And the coaches, I don't know if you remember this, but they were freaking high the whole year. They were stoned the whole year.
And sleeping with students. So there's that.
They're really good.
Yeah. Multiple coaches had student girlfriends. Yes.
Yeah.
Richie, are you shocked? It's just unbelievable. You guys forget so much. Like Richie's like shocked. Like what? Mr. Ravello married a student. He's the
Was it
principal.
Ravello? Oh yeah.
Mr. Rolla left to another school so you could be with a student. There were so many teachers were just like, oh man. I was like, we would be on the news if we would totally be on the news if it happened this day and age. All that stuff happened like Commerce City, Adams City High School, like just all the debacle and be like nonstop. But nope.
am I remembering something right? wasn't there a principal that was hooking up with some other? Was it a teacher?
All of them were, dude.
Yeah, no, Miss Buddy. Yeah, no, Miss Buddy. She
The
was
gym teacher?
English teacher, and she hooked up with the principal. We had that one principal for 1 year, and they got together. But I was part of the editorial staff on the school newspaper, and I wrote a little comic strip about Miss Button, Miss Buddy, and the principal. I wrote a little comic strip, and I turned it in, and she was like, "That's not funny."
Yeah.
Wow. Well, didn't the weight teacher, gym teacher, wasn't he doing Mary Dilly?
Mary Dilly, the myth, the legend of Mary Dilly. Yes.
Yeah.
Still lives on in my little
Still lives on in my boner.
Shotgun Willies.
No, she worked at Pecos Junction.
Oh.
She was upper class stripper in high school.
Did you actually see her nude?
Yeah, we went to go see her. We went to go see her dance.
Really?
You did?
Yeah, she was working at Pecos Junction, not the landing strip. Oof. Ooh. That was a local. That's where hookers went. Not hookers, strippers went to die. It was like last stop before.
Okay, so I have a bad habit of not being truthful. A couple go arounds of this. Richie's like, "Fucker, we tell all our stories. Why don't you tell your good story?" Okay, I was at the landing strip by myself. I bought the whole bar drinks.
In high school?
No. Who do you think I am? What is that? You know, not high school.
We were poor. How did you know? Oh, they were only 50 cents a drink, so you could.
That's why. And there's like 4 people in there.
Yeah, that's true.
The whole bar. How much was it? $2.50.
I remember we went to the landing strip, and because I was kind of weirded out by the whole strip thing. I mean, I want to see Mary Dilly for sure, but we went to the landing strip. That might have been my first stripper experience.
Oh my God!
So bad. There was some chick up there that I'm not even kidding. She was pregnant. She was pregnant and stripping, and she was drunk. And she was
pregnant drunk.
Yeah, and I was watching in awe because I thought she was gonna fall off a stage on the stage anytime. Yeah, she was just like, she was so hammered she could barely stand up, like she couldn't see straight, but she was working.
She was like, "Who wants some?"
Hey,
oh my God,
Richie, and I married that woman.
Oops.
Fucker.
Whoa.
Well, she dances good.
She made a good living. Can't say she's not tough.
That baby, on the other hand. Woo.
That's right. That was the village strip joint. Let me tell you, our strippers, when guys came in and saw our local strippers, they were like, "Those are village beauties."
It was just charity. They were paying out of charity. Like, oh, this poor person. This poor, oh my God.
Crazy. Wow. How do you remember that, man? That was a long time ago.
Hold on a second. My dog is attacking me. 2 seconds. Okay. Oh.
Wasn't the landing strip over by Quebec, off of Quebec?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of a shady area. It was the poorer part of town.
This is great for the podcast. Technical difficulties. All right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your backdrop. That's your backdrop.
Pay no attention to the man in front of the canvas.
Now you got his backdrop straightened out.
Well, dude, I'm in the closet, okay? Not like I'm gay or like.
Hey, well, that's a whole different story.
You know.
And it wasn't the landing strip.
No, I'm in the closet here. This is a tough space, so I gotta work my background a little bit. Richie he's got this little signage up there. What else you got in the background? Take us a little tour there, buddy.
I'm getting ready to go to a gig, so there's my amplifier.
He's in his
There's my
RV.
hat. Here's my microphone that I tried to set up, but it's not it's not working. So go fuck yourselves.
So how long you been working with musical equipment and you can't get this mic working?
I know. Well, I got it in Amazon this morning. It's like a little interface thing right here.
Oh, that's cool.
About the real stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's not, my computer's not reading it. So it's not showing up in the input. So
You have to download the drivers or something?
maybe, yeah. Something, I don't know. I have to figure it out later. I just got it like an hour ago.
Really? And you got a new computer for all this?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Okay, that's going to be awesome. Very good. So, no, but I really want to, I think it's really important to be kind of forthright and authentic on this, but not where we're like, if I feel uncomfortable about sharing and stuff like that. But, so one of the things one question I came up with was the idea that, we have experiences all through our life with different people and different individuals and stuff like that, but sometimes we don't know like these little touchstones throughout our life, things that affect us that are profound, that kind of resonate profound, and so we have all these communications across time and space with these different people, but what is a tiny micro interaction that profoundly affected your life? And I can start. I came up. Sadly, I came prepared, and then I'm going to hit you guys.
We work best winging it. Well, Brad does.
I wing everything.
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings. I wing my doggy ride.
So at the end of being in Washington, I went out to Washington with my mom. She just got she got out of prison, and I stayed there my good years. These are good, like 20, when I was 25. These are really like high-end years for a human being. It's like you're vital, you got a bunch of energy, you got a bunch of like drive and stuff like that. But I decided to go take care of my mom getting out of prison. But the experience was like mixed the whole time, but finally got to a point where I was doing some pretty bad stuff, being a heavy duty enabler to my mother, right? And I was she was stealing. Her group of people were stealing stuff from Home Depots and different places. It was like the easiest place to steal stuff. And then she would have me take it and return it. And I would go and return it without a receipt. Like, I explained to them. And then I'd give them the money back, and she would buy heroin with it. So that's a bad thing. Like, I'm enabling. I was a terrible, terrible enabler. Horrible experience. But I was done with it. She'd fully relapsed, and I blew up my full ride scholarship to the University of Washington, and I was just over it and stuff like that. But
you left, or you got in trouble?
Well, here's what happened, and I'm talking about these touchstones, these little bits of things that happen that change kind of your trajectory about life and stuff like that. But I took my mom. She also doctors. She went to different doctors to get different drugs, and she was a master at it. So it was easy for her to go into a doctor. And this is before the records would follow you. She'd get ahead of it before the records would get there. She'd go in and she'd get barbiturates, all kinds of drugs and stuff like that. But I took her to the doctor. I knew what she was doing. I'm a terrible human being in that sense, enabling awfully. And I took her to the doctor, and the doctor, he saw her and stuff like that, but he decided to pull me aside. He pulled me aside, and he said, he told me, "Hey, I know you're Shannon's son. You need to get as far away from her as humanly possible."
Whoa.
You need to, and I knew he's a doctor. And that's all it was. He's like, you in order to save yourself, you need to get as far away from her as humanly possible. And then shortly after that, I left. So that was a profound moment. I picture him. He was an Indian. He was Hindu Indian, younger, well-spoken and stuff like that. But he didn't know me from Adam. He didn't know anything.
Yeah.
But he took that upon himself to do that, and that was it. I did something really terrible after that. And if you guys want the story, I can tell you. I don't know if I told.
Drop it.
No, this is one story I've never told anybody. I don't think any. Maybe I did tell you guys because I share.
Can we guess?
I show you my penis.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa!
You guys.
I got this tattoo of my mom's name.
No. But
can we guess? Can we guess before you tell us?
Absolutely.
All right. I think.
Wait. What? How old were you at this point?
I was about 20. I was getting close. I was about 27, 28.
So wait, how did you preface it that you did something really terrible?
Well, it's not
But
really
it's in
terrible.
It's in regards to your mom. Oh, I bet.
No, it was part of my escape route. It was part of my.
Part of this.
I think.
But the first question was, this was a profound moment in your life. How did this shape your life? That was the question.
Yes.
Okay.
And at that point, I was like, I'm doing these terrible things. I'm enabling my mom, getting her heroin, driving her to the drug dealer and stuff like that. So I needed it out. But I just gave up my thousands of dollar scholarship, full ride to the University of Washington for my master's degree. I had an internship at Fantagraphics Books. I was doing everything I planned to do at that phase in my life. I had gotten to a point where I was doing my comic book thing. I did a bunch of art. But then it blew up. I just what am I doing? It's not worth it. But I needed an escape route, and this opportunity came my way. And so, if you want to guess, Richie, you can. It's not that bad. It's like I didn't murder somebody or anything like that. But I think you
sold one of your little siblings into slavery. No, I'm joking. No, you probably committed. I say you probably committed insurance fraud.
You're good. You're close, Brad. What's your guess?
I was gonna say you had your mom because you were leaving, and you guys did it one more time so you can make money.
You guys put those together. So, yes, I robbed a bank.
No, you didn't.
But it's not how you're thinking it is.
Wait. I don't think you should be saying this.
You bounced checks or whatever you committed. Check bounce.
Wait. Should you be saying this?
It's 25 years later.
I don't know.
We can cut it out if need.
Okay, you can edit it, but...
The reason why I'm saying these things, is because I want to be as vulnerable as you guys are. Amazing human beings, and you guys share, and you're vulnerable. You always put it out there. You tell these amazing stories all the time. Brad, are you dying over there? Are you okay?
Choking on I'm fucking shocked. You said you robbed a bank.
So I'm sorry. No, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to open up because I feel like I've been cheating you guys in these kind of these sessions and stuff like that, and I'm guarded and stuff like that. And you guys always lay it out on the table. You guys are always telling these amazing stories.
So you're trying to set a tone here for us.
Yeah, no, honestly, because I'm okay with myself, man. I'm at the point that I'm fucking, dude. I am so okay with myself, but I'm still a little guarded. I live in a small community, and I'm, but I also want my children to watch this someday and go like, oh,
that's who our father was.
Yeah. That fucker. Okay.
Well, but that's the beauty of it, being able to be vulnerable, to be, first off, you're 100% okay with you. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
But that's why I fucking love you guys. That's why you guys are amazing, because you guys, you are the human beings on this whole planet that, my wife too, I'm going to tell you a joke my wife tells all the time about eyelashes and cum shots, okay? She tells me she's going to get eyelashes because the porn stars get the eyelashes. She told me it's okay to say this joke, okay? She said it's okay, okay?
Go ahead.
So the porn stars get the big eyelashes.
Go ahead.
When they're doing the stuff,
The cum
it
shot.
doesn't get in her eyes. So that's why all the big eyelashes are really popular right now.
Oh, really?
I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's not true. She's like, no, it is.
There's probably
It's totally
truth to
true.
that.
You
Yeah.
want me to get eyelashes? I'm like, I don't want to get you.
So what you're saying is, what you're saying is, oh, shit, dude.
So this doctor told me to separate from my mom because I was going down a path. I would have been dead or in jail for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I got my escape hatch. This doctor sent the message clearly enough for me to be. It's called an epiphany. I just had the epiphany to get away from that.
Was it
lifestyle.
just because it was just so like out of nowhere? Like it wasn't his place, it wasn't the time, and it was almost like.
And I needed somebody who I felt had weight to really give me some kind of like, just a message, like a profound message, right? It's like he was a professional, and and it came from nowhere. There was no transition.
With that being said, I would say like you were probably somewhere in your subconscious looking for that, and that's why it was so profound,
Yeah.
Yes. It validated your feelings.
You
probably
wanted that. So I don't know, but then again, sometimes my friend Kelly, I watched her tell people shit, and I watch it like kind of like drop people in shock of what she tells them, but she does it with love and just blah, blah, blah. You need to do like this and this and this. It's like stuff that's none of her business, but she's doing it from a place of love, and that's cool to watch that happen a lot, and because she feels herself as like this, I guess, a spiritual medium. Like she's like, oh, I have this. I think I'm being told to tell this to you. Like so it's does not she personal for her?
So does she get these like? Is it like she tells you hard answers or hard questions, or does she go like she'll say this is through a spiritual thing, and then she'll tell you something that you're supposed to hear?
I mean, for her, she's kind of like she believes she can talk to angels, and it's just there's no maybe I think I hear these. No, it's just like she just knows things like oh, this is happening. There's so much
there's no
confidence.
Doubt.
Yeah, there's so much confidence is this is the way it is, and there's no, which is I think that's why I was kind of drawn to her as a friend, because I'm so the opposite of that. It's like I feel like fuck, I don't know shit for sure. So when you see somebody like that, I'm just like,
but
wow. It's almost like I envy people who are religious, like Christian and shit, and you see them, they're just like, no doubt, they just believe that, and they're down to every molecule in their body, they know it.
What's going on?
And I'm just like, I don't.
But when people are bullshitting you too, though, like, what is the intention behind what you're saying? Like, if somebody's belief like hers is so absolute, right? But when people are bullshitting you, like, so when somebody is that confident, don't you question it? Don't you just say, well, yeah, but, right?
Yeah,
or no?
Usually when people are very confident, but I mean, I think that's what attracted me or drew her to her friendship is, and it was fun. Here's the crazy thing is, it was fine when she was talking about angels and spirits and mediums or UFOs, and it was cool, it was intriguing. The only problem is when this whole political atmosphere came up, she became a super Trumper, and she was just, this is the truth, and I was just like,
Wow.
I just, yeah, and brought that
Same level of confidence.
same level of confidence. And man, we used to just go rounds and rounds and rounds. And I was never really arguing for one side. I was just bringing like, trying to bring like, because she was just like
Questioning it.
black, white. And I'm just like, yeah, but what about this gray? And I think she took it as I was arguing the other side, but I was just trying to argue against the black and whiteness of it.
But you should give a little background on her. Like this, according to what I know, is she's never worked. She's always had a trust fund, right? So she has these opinions.
That's
No,
not
that's
true.
not her.
No, that is her. That I think she does. I mean, it's not really my business, but I know she gets a family stipend of whatever they usually do that they can give without being taxed or whatever. And she worked in the corporate world for a while. She worked for many years, I believe.
But she is.
Since I knew her, she hadn't worked. She just
Okay.
kind of made do with whatever little money she got from her family.
Yeah.
Did you? So Brad's hot on the bullshit detecting, which is I don't see. We talked about this before, Richie and me. Brad, why don't you chime in on this? I'd love to get your opinion about it. So it's like when you talk to people, how do you go about? Do you give them the trust and then let them break it, or you have them earn the trust in this conversation, in this relationship, in this conversation and stuff?
Yeah.
How do you go about it, Brad?
Well, for me, like I take my own experiences and what I feel inside, especially if it's whatever issues, like the political issue, if it's religion or whatever, how I attack things or relationships with people. I kind of look at it as, first off, do I believe in it, right? If I believe in something, because it's not right or wrong. To me, everything is not permanent and it's situational. Perspective is everything, because unless you know it's something that is clearly wrong, like abusing a child, that's wrong. Rape is clearly wrong, right? But if you have a let's say there's a relationship or whatever, like with Kelly, the question I would have for Kelly, I mean, you obviously know her, is this. Well, this whole Trump thing, political thing, she views it as one side, and she's absolutely positive that's what it is. And then you have that other side of her religious and all that. So for me, two things can be going on. She could be right and wrong at the same time. This political thing for me is like, both can be true. That's what I'm saying. So for me to judge and here's a big one, projection. I'm learning this now, and I'm 57. Projecting your beliefs onto somebody, as strong or as stubborn as you are, always gets into some kind of fight or something. And you know what? I don't have time for it, man. I don't want to deal with it. So I always try to be objective. So why can't we agree to disagree? Right? And that's how I feel about everything.
No,
pretty much.
My question is it's I really feel like something changed in the universe, and it sounds like tinfoil hat stuff, and and that's why I want you guys' grounding a lot of times, is the idea that we went from honestly feeling like we knew everything, like this is our knowledge base. Now it just feels like everybody can come along and have their own individual kind of bubbles of experience and stuff like this. So
yeah.
This, what's her name, Richie? What's the woman's name? Kelly. So Kelly, Richie, does she really believe she talks to angels?
Yeah. I mean, she walks the walk, man. She's not. I mean, that's the thing. When Kelly believes she's right, she really, it's like
she believes she's right.
She really believes, and she walks the walk. It's not, that's why when we're talking about a bullshit detector, she's not full of bullshit. She may be wrong.
No, I'm not saying she's full of bullshit.
No,
what I'm saying, you you have enough life experience where when you're meeting these people or you have relationships with these people, you can kind of gauge. I'm not saying they're bullshitting. You can kind of gauge if they're all there or not, right? You could put the pieces together and then you make your own assumption of what is. And I learned this. I don't know if you remember Jackie from Phoenix. There was a girl there, and we got into a huge argument about this. Was probably like 10 years ago, and I've always remembered this. Living in Phoenix, she was a singer, but her religion was everything. Like this girl, white girl, attractive, right? She sang in clubs and stuff, and she had a kind of well-to-do. She lived in Scottsdale, so it was one of those things where we had this question or this debate about her tithing, and I was like, okay, let me give you a scenario. If your kids are starving in your house and you still go to church and you have no food in, do you give the money to the church because that's what you're telling me, or do you feed your children? And it was first I give the money to the church. And I said, so you're going to let your children starve? And she was like, and it pissed her off because I was questioning her faith. And at that point, not right at that conversation, but at that time, I realized this. Whatever people need to get them through, that's the bigger picture for me. It's not that she's bullshitting me, but that's what gets her through her life. And that's profound in some sense, because then it's not projecting or judging her. It's just saying that's who she is and that's what she believes. It's not right for me because I'd feed my fucking kids first, right? Yeah. So, so I don't know. Like I don't know if that answered the question, but that's what I believe, right? Like,
no, it totally makes sense. The idea that people are when they're world building for themselves and they're in these their bubbles or what have you. It is really a lot of times it comes from a place of, because we don't know everybody's experience. Everybody has these different experiences, and people deal with abundance or they deal with trauma, and their motivations come from a different place. And then that internal motivation is to make sure they're okay with their worldview. Like, I'm going to pay my tithes, and I believe that my kids will be taken care of, and that's the best path to that. Versus you, it's like, no, man, God put me here to take care of my kids. And he can go without my 10% for now. And he knows, he kind of understands that.
But here's the other side of that though.
Yeah.
Religion, again, it's like the question of ethics, moral values, your scruples and all that.
Yeah.
Religion, I mean, this is my opinion. There's more deaths, there's more cause fights, there's more wars over fucking religion. It's different than being spiritual. So when you ask these questions, and again, with the internet and technology today, you go down these rabbit holes of like Horus, right, versus Christianity. And then you start realizing like, oh shit, there was fucking 6 presidents before we even named the presidents. Like, you're finding you have access to all this information. What's bullshit and what's not? Because everybody has the platform now. Everybody thinks or has the ability to be professional. Or you know what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about now because I looked it up. Yeah, well.
And my bigger question is are we? I think going back to, is it changing? Is the world changing in that sense? Because of the amount of information we have access to, we have these little things that have all of humanity's access to any little bit of whatever, right? And now with AI and stuff like that, are things changing? Especially about the idea of religion. It's like, oh, Noah's Ark existed. Mm-hmm. It was a real thing, but we're like, well, I ran the numbers, and that would be like I mean, aside from a crazy miracle, that's what you believe, like where did you find a kangaroo from in the Middle East? Like, did you go to Australia to get a kangaroo to put him on the ark? Like, so are we in this great turning? Are things just fundamentally changing because of the amount of knowledge we have access to, and how much the world is broken down to? I mean, because before people could live in their giant bubbles of culture, and they could
Yeah.
live in these things. And Richie, both you guys are both well traveled, but when you go to different places, but over the years of traveling, hasn't it shrunk? It's like we're coming to more of a hegemonious culture. Before it
Yeah.
was like you'd go somewhere and you could really tell it was a different culture, a different way of thinking of life. But now it's shrunk. Now we just have this hegemony of just this like slop. It's like just like I like just a generalist. Well, we all kind of are in this. I call it American culture. Like, it's just general. We're here to be entertained. We're here to eat hamburgers. We're here to, be as soft and yeah. I don't know, Richie. You're like, have you seen this
Yeah,
change?
no, you're right. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, just with the mere fact of, I mean, it's the globalization, right? As it's like the villages that were once separated by a lot have just started to merge into one bigger village. And so, the
You mean the
things where,
communication of it?
no, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about the culture. I'm talking about the knowledge, everything. It's just it literally, if you live on an island and you have different tribes, right? You have different tribes all around. And then this tribe does things this way and they think this way, they believe in this kind of god. Well, the more populated the and the way things open up with, like, oh, the waterways, now you don't have to cross the mountains to have contact. That's what's basically happened with technology. And so, there was times in when I would travel to, like, well, I mean, I've been going to Italy for decades, and hardly anybody spoke English, hardly anybody. Now you find somebody under the age of 35 and they all speak English, like, really well most of the time. And in Scandinavia, forget about it. I remember Nina's niece was like, she could barely speak some English words. It's like, oh, she's learning. She's like 6 or something. Man, I didn't see her for 2 years. She came back. She was fluent in English. You know, she was like 8, fluent, like slang, talking stuff like her and all of her friends. They love speaking English, her and her
Which
friends.
is which is ironic because you come to America and like California, they're cutting programs like Spanish. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well,
But
this,
Scandinavian and European countries, like when we traveled there were kids that knew like 5 different languages by the time they were like 8.
you want to know something trippy though? I mean, okay, I remember one time many, many, many years ago, I was in Austria in a hostel. And this is like 1999. And there was this French guy in this hostel and he was arguing with everybody at the hostel. We were like, there was
Fuck
like,
the
there
French.
was like
No,
two,
no, no.
Richie,
yeah, I know. There was like,
Richie's like, oh, let me tell you something.
no, I was just mostly listening, but but he was saying like globalization was going to be the death of everything good. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, well, and I was like throwing points out like, but do you like going and exchanging money every time you fucking cross a border, which is like, you know, drive 2 hours, the fucking currency, and then you lose your, and they
Yeah,
should
yeah.
make it all. Don't you have a hard time communicating? Don't you wish everybody here could speak, one language so we could all communicate together? And he was just completely set against it, because he was saying it was going to be the death of, like, well, it sounds very French, right? Because that that's always a weird thing. Like, if I was a tribal chief, I would hate to have to make that decision of like, what do I have to do to preserve my culture? That means I'm going to have to play exclusivity. My Richieville first, Richie civilians first. The rest people are going to be treated
Yeah.
as second
Yeah.
class, and that's what I got to do to protect my village culture. And
So
I don't.
can I throw out a firebomb?
Yeah, go for it.
So can you empathize with white nationalists then?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I understand it. I really do, and because just like I understood that guy, he was like if somebody said to me, "You can't have ever homemade tortillas again." You know what I mean? I fucking love
You would
that.
fight
That
for
is
it.
like,
Yeah.
it feels like part of me. It's something I love, but if I'm going to be inclusive, homemade tortillas are going to forever slip away from
Yeah. But see,
my my world.
that's,
Brad,
I
So
think,
this is so, this is really, we're not going to get to the bottom of this, but this is fascinating. This is insane.
well, here's the thing. Let me throw my 2 cents in. To be human is to feel fear and threat. When you're uneducated or you're in a system that's failed you over and over and over, right? Then it's like the protective side of your tribe is only as good as your education behind it. I'm not saying you can be a true racist or whatever, right? There's people out there that are like that. But if you're threatened by everything and therefore you're fearful of somebody taking from you, see, I think that's the problem.
that's
Is
the key.
that well, the problem, there's 2 problems with that. One is greed. The wealthy don't want to let go of the wealth, therefore they run these systems. The systems aren't built for the working class. It's never been that way. So the working class always has to fight. And if you're uneducated like the white supremacist and you're holding on to your tribe, just like the gangs back in the 90s, they thought they were fighting for something beautiful. They wanted, because that was their tribe. But the problem with it is they were uneducated and they were affecting other innocent people in that fight. And I think that's the problem, is there's the masses are the innocents. The people that run the countries, they're educated and they know why they're doing it. And that's just the way it was built. It wasn't built for us. I think that's the problem.
So Brad, if we started civilization again from scratch, you could play God for 10 seconds, and you're going to say, this is how we're going to set it up so humans can exist, but they're going to be, but we're going to set it up so they can keep their hegemony, they can keep their this piece of culture. How would it look like? I mean, because I'm anti-nationalism. So see, I have this, because there's so much sense being made, but because I'm a globalist, okay, I'm a globalist. I like the hegemony because I like the things that you were arguing back in that hostel, Richie.
Yeah.
But I do not like losing the smell of tortillas.
Exactly. But that's the cost of it.
It is. So what is the middle ground?
So if I could play,
let me just say this. My stance on the whole thing is, when you ask me, can you empathize with these white nationalists? Yes, heart wise, I get it. I get it why they're like that. That, and of course they're in a position of power, and as Brad was saying, they're in a position to lose something. Especially if you're in a position of power, you got it good, right? But for me, my village, I would have to say, I know we love this stuff, and we're gonna have to just really enjoy it while it's around. But my philosophical way I am an inclusive kind of being. And maybe it dates back to some childhood trauma or whatever, but I cannot move through this planet thinking and not think about how it feels to be excluded. Maybe it was the way that we were growing up in this country, that we, like you were talking about, Brad, that we were here we were supposed to feel like we belonged, but somewhere deep, deep down inside, it felt like we were not in that position of we were a subculture. We were a subculture. Maybe
And to be
somebody could
a
say
subculture, you could
we were second in
second
line.
class. Yeah. That's the problem. If I play God for 10 seconds, I would say this. If I could recreate the planet, it would be something like this. Nobody owns land. Nobody makes a certain wage. And for
You're,
sure, nobody
you're Native
owns
American.
oil.
You're indigenous.
Yeah. Everybody comes from the idea of whole. And we're not states. There's no borders. There's no fucking imaginary lines. And it's the planet. That's it.
Yeah, but we're human too. I mean, indigenous people, they would fucking raid each other,
Oh,
steal each
yeah.
other's kids. If you
Yeah.
had something that
Yeah.
could take
The
it, they'd
Aztecs,
do it.
the
They fuck.
Comanches, and the
Yeah.
Apaches, that wasn't their real names.
Yeah.
Those names are just the enemy. That's that's what it translates to. The Aztecs, the Comanches, and the Apaches. That's
Yeah.
not the tribal's real name. That's the name the other tribes gave them. The enemy. That's what it translates
Yeah.
to in the Native
Yeah.
American
Yeah.
language. So you're
Really?
right. You're right, Richie.
So
They're bad dudes.
that's a human thing, So we're just.
But that's what I'm
fucking
saying, though. But that's what I'm saying. It's like when you start putting in, what do you call it? Materialistic
Scarcity.
whatever. Yeah,
That
it's
other
like
tribe feels like I don't got my shit. My
Yeah,
baby's
that's
starving.
where
I'm
white
gonna go
nash.
chops in the hands.
I mean, because you think of World War II, how was Hitler able to kind of pull that movement together of make Germany great again? I mean,
Scarcity.
yeah,
They went through
exactly.
the worst economic
They
times.
were in a rough fucking spot. Those Germans they had the world's foot on their head, and so when somebody came along, just like fucking Trump, you know, people were hurting, and so that's scarcity, and then Trump comes
take
along and
advantage of it.
go like,
Yeah,
we fuck this system. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I know we're weaving a little bit, but here's the thing. Do you think Trump is creating this scarcity again because he's fucking up the economy bad? This
Yeah.
shit is going down, or
He's
is he just ahead of it's coming anyways, and he's just like the surfer on top of the wave. What's going on here?
I think he knows that it's coming, and he's just fucking taking what he wants. And he's just grabbing.
Yeah, he's smart. He's smart enough to know the financials behind it and how to line their pockets.
Yeah,
but he's not smart enough.
Like a lot of the people.
Well, he's shameless, and that's like you said before. I think you said that's his superhero power, dude. The guy has no shame, so he could fucking wipe an entire culture out and fucking feel good about it. Not good. So, it's just not fucking good.
No, I don't. So let's bring it back around again. I gave you the original question, kind of sat upon the idea that there was somebody throughout your guys' life that, and you brought Kelly up, Richie.
Well, okay, sorry, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
But the idea that somebody came along, and gave you just a little tiny pinch of epiphany, and then it sent you on a different place.
Well, okay, I could think of two examples. One, I don't really understand how, but it was kind of like just kind of a deer in the head, like it just stopped you dead in your tracks. Like, what the fuck was that about? Felt like a message. I'm not sure if I took it to heart or whatever, but so we were in high school. You guys probably both know this story. And we were rotating through principals and disciplinaries, and we were always I was in the principal's office quite a bit, mostly because of you fuckers. And then one of us in our groups were always getting pulled like here comes a note from go to the principal's office, like, Mr. Madrid, please report to see Mr. Ravello or whatever, like the principal. You're like, fuck. And I remember I was being good. I
I
don't
was
remember
being
doing
good.
anything bad, at
I'm
least
good.
nothing that
I'm
nobody
good.
could catch me on. And I got a note from Mr. What was his name? Mr.
Roll.
Roll? I don't know. He was a vice principal at the time. No, not Vic Rolla. I don't know. Anyway, it's not important. But he was kind of a quiet guy, and he was the disciplinary guy. And I got a fucking call right in the middle of the class, like, yeah, Mr. Richie Castro, what's the name, wants to see you, right? The principal wants to see you. I was like, fuck. And I remember walking down the hall going, what the fuck did I do? What the fuck? And my head is turning. It's like, the fuck did I do? What the fuck? And he pulled me out of class and he sat me in the office. He was on the phone when I walked into his, and I walked in the office and stuff, and he was on the phone, and he was like, sit down to me. And so I was like, oh, fuck. My brain was going, what am I doing? How am I going to get out of this? I don't even know what I did. But I was just sitting there, and then so he got off the phone, and he goes, he said, yeah, I just wanted to call you in here because he says, I know you got some friends that mean a lot to you, and I know that they kind of can be kind of rambunctious. He said something like that. He's basically knocking you guys down, right? And he said, we never had a conversation, but I'll tell you what, Richie. He says, I see something in you. Matter of fact, you remind me of an old high school buddy I had. He said, you
Oh
look just
shit.
like him. You
Oh
look just
shit.
like him. And he was kind of a fuck up. And he said, and I thought for sure when I went off to college that this guy was going to either burn out or end up in prison. And I was just sure of it. And he said, but I'll tell you what, we kind of lost contact for a number of years, and I got a phone call from him. And we got caught up, and he said, this guy just called me on the day that he became a judge.
Oh shit. Nice.
And he says, so I want you to think about this. I see you in him. So you can do anything you want to do, but you have to watch who you're hanging out with.
Fuck, dude.
No!
You blew.
And that was
Those
it.
fucking
And he
Madrids!
sent me back to class.
You suck again, bro. What did you do?
He sent me back to class. I was just like, and I came back to class, and everybody's like, ooh, Richie. Oh, surprised you made it back. You get suspended. Oh, yeah, they couldn't pin it on you. And I'm just sitting there in class like,
What the fuck
was that about?
Oh shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Crazy,
Crazy, man.
You guys never heard that story?
No.
Yeah, that's a true story. And I don't think I ever had a conversation with them after that.
Was that when you stopped hanging out with us?
Yeah, remember that time he just fucking left us?
That's when I.
You're like,
that's when
how come we hanging out with the
Fucking
I was
Madrids.
just like, sorry guys, I gotta go study for the bar.
That's when he came to school in a suit and that little bow tie, that black little bow tie, and then he got his glasses. Remember that?
What? Yeah. Yeah, that was like, because you know what it was? Is I never had an adult, and especially, this is a big one for me, a male in an authoritative position just pull me out of nowhere, single me out, and say, I believe in you.
Yeah.
I believe in your potential.
That's
Was like,
powerful.
that was fucking, because for me, male authority figures,
Yeah.
I still have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go off tangent a second because you made a really cool point about the idea that because we all know that there's a male, there's right now in our in the world culture, there's a male problem. There's a problem with masculinity and how we see ourselves as men, and it's going all different places, good, bad, and indifferent. But when you make that statement, Richie, do you think we're lacking on these male role models in younger positions? Because right now, I go to my kids' schools, all female teachers. Everybody's female, all women teachers, all these very few, so few men are in there helping these boys out who are so profoundly impacted by exactly what you just said. That's a perfect example. And you got it. But so many kids throughout the world right now don't get that man. I mean, of course we're supposed to have our fathers do that, but a lot of times our fathers are working, they're too busy, they don't have energy, they weren't taught themselves, they don't know. I mean, being a parent is, they don't know that they need to have that moment, but these educated people, are supposed to. Do you think there's a lack in our world of men being role models in a positive way to contribute to that age level? We're talking about from elementary to high school, maybe a little bit of college. What do you think?
You mean in general, or
Yeah.
we have that lack of role models? I mean, it's a thing, man. It's a thing. A statistic I don't really like, and especially some people hold on to it. They're like, oh, the reason why the blacks are held down is because their dads aren't there or whatever. But
Hmm.
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue against that. But I think to your question, Jeremy, is like the role modelship of it. Like, I mean, just the mere fact, me and Brad talk about this all the time, is like, we weren't fucking taught about money. Do you know what I mean? We were not taught on
Yeah.
how to fucking make money, but except for with our backs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that stuff comes from, you know, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess your mom could teach you, but, that's not.
Yeah, my mom taught me, all right. I can go back to that bank robbing story.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, but
Dude,
yeah, so
crazy, crazy.
those type of things, and I mean, we got taught on how to, like, if I think about the males in my life, my father was there. He was
Yeah.
there,
They're good
doing
providers, but
doing the best he can. But I mean, even now knowing him, he's got his struggles just moving through the world.
And there's
And
another
being
question I wanted to bring up, but maybe we'll get to that. But it's about a changed mythology we had in our heads about something, and it spurs my memory about how I thought about my father. Like, oh, I just in my mind when I was younger, I destroyed my dad. In my mind, he's like he failed. But then later on, I realized, no, dude, he did as
yeah,
much as he possibly had. Every drop in his tank that he had, he gave it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would
So
say that too for my dad.
yeah, but because we're a Generation Xers, we're different, man. We're different. It was the struggle was real. Latchkey, we're the kids running around from 6 in the morning till 10 at night. Parents are like, we're busy. Go
yeah,
take care of shit.
yeah.
You go
We didn't. There was
make
no
sure you show you're
guidance.
alive. You can eat food out of the refrigerator. Don't get in our way. That was our childhood. Like, and
Yeah,
our parents are only because they were working. My dad works like 10 to 16 hours a day, and I'm
yeah,
like, dude, like,
yeah. Like he was just surviving, dude.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Brad, was there a person that gave you epiphany to drop something into the bucket to kind of change
No,
the
I mean,
trajectory?
at the top of my head, I can't think of anybody, but throughout my life, I've been blessed, dude. I'm really blessed. I mean, I have you guys, right? Like ethically and values. And my parents, you know, growing up in Commerce City, like I understand a lot of it more now than I did back then, what they did and how they, right? But overall, it's been like just the handful of friends that I've had. Like if I know I'm fucking up, I can always go to Rich or you or somebody and go, and they'll go, yeah, dude, you're kind of fucking up, right? Like it's like, dude, you got to pull back. This isn't right. So I've been blessed in that sense. And then I still have my parents, dude. My parents are so simple, and there's something inside of me that holds on to that. It's
I love
true.
that.
You know what I
No,
mean? That
I
it's
really
true.
love that.
And I try to value because I was a single dad, right? Like I raised my son, I was the mother and the father. Me raising my boy for 20 years, I could see the lack of what I could give him and what his mom's not giving him, right? So along that journey, having my son, like my life is stages. There was the LA stage, there was the Commerce City stage, then there was Brad, the parent stage. So I try to incorporate like all of that experience into making decisions at 57, right? So I hold on to some of my parent stuff. I hold on to what you guys say. And that's how I live my life. Yeah.
Brad, do you think it was forced because of our upbringing? Do you think it was forced relationships? It was like you had to. These are ways you had to make up for the. It's not lack of parenting. It's because of our parental situation. Do you think you just adapted and said, "I'm going to get"? Uh, because you were always growing up, Brad. You were always the man. You would we'd know when you entered the room because you command the room and people knew about you. You were a legend in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like but do you think it was because of your personality and you pulled that energy from those people to kind of help you, or was it forced because you had to? That was just your adapting skills. Is that a good
Well,
question?
yeah, but I mean, I think the core of it is, again, I was very blessed. Like I started traveling because of the flea markets, like, and Fred and Charlotte, like that was a whole different world that I didn't even know
You're,
about.
you're like 30, no, you're like 8 years old.
Stuff like, hey, traveling in a motorhome, and my parents were like, "Oh, can we take him for the summer?" It's like, yeah, he can go. What the
Talk
fuck,
about latchkey, man. This is
dude?
like some people in an
Wasn't even coming home at
RV.
10. Is bring
RV
him
want to
back in
take it.
3 months.
That's what happened.
Make sure he
They,
has money in his pocket.
yeah,
Four
But
bucks.
here's the thing though. Those people were good people. I lucked out. They didn't, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
they
so I
did.
got to see these different states and how white people lived. It was kind of I, I kind of grasped that and I understood because I could see my parents. My father went to work every day, hated his job. My mom supplemented the income. We grew up in Commerce City. But then there was this white family that was well to do.
They took out a poor black child. Like,
Yeah, they adopted the little Hispanic child.
come on, come on.
How the
But
hell did your
actually, it, but
how did they get your parents' trust? Who were they? Like, were they
so
just knock on the door and say, "Do you happen to have
No,
a little
wait.
brown kid that we could borrow?"
so the apples.
Brad, I don't know the story. I don't remember the story. Can you go into it? This is really cool because
So
I don't know
yeah,
about this as much.
so growing up in Commerce City, we moved to Wyman Court, right? We moved to Wyman Court, and that was our because we had moved around a lot in Commerce City. We were living. I don't know if you remember, but we lived in Oneida. We lived in Central. So my parents moved around from house to house. But Wyman Court was the first house that they actually bought, and that was like their not totally true, but it was they were going to settle down there because it was like close to my dad's job. He worked at Rainbow Bread. The neighbors across the street were the Apples. They were from Boston,
I
and
remember
they were a
Apple.
white. Yeah, they were a white family. They had kids similar to us, like my sister, my brother, right? So the Apples ran a produce stand at the flea markets. And Bob Apple, this dude he was full blown alcoholic. He would drive in his truck with this 6-pack of beer. It was like Mr. Butterworth in Bad News Bears. He would crack it. He'd put his fucking liquor in there and he'd be driving and he'd be in that truck and he'd be fucking hunched over by the end of the weekend, like at the end of the days at the flea market. He would be drunk. And he'd be driving that truck 30 miles an hour. Well, I would go work with him at the flea markets because my parents were like, well, Bob Apple was like, hey, can we take Brad to help us out? And I was getting like $20 a day. Back
That's good,
then,
man. Whew.
yeah, so I had like $40 for the
You were
weekend.
banking.
And I had money. I was loaning my uncle's money.
You were banking. Was that you took me? I worked there for about 10 seconds. Was that the
Yeah,
people?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah. So the like in a nutshell, I learned I've been working since I was like 8 years old. Right.
that's that's crazy, bro.
So the Apples knew Fred and Charlotte because Fred and Charlotte had a sock stand at the flea market. So they had been friends for like 15 years or however long. Fred and Charlotte would come to our house and we would take them to dinner. They befriended my parents. And then that's one of the summers, Fred, he had that little tailed mustache. He was one of those, and he kind of had this Santa Claus belly. And
Brad, it sounds like a pedophile ring. Sounds like your parents
well,
were groomed.
we won't,
And
we
we
won't
know
go.
how you really
We,
came home with $40 for the weekend. So
what are you
let's
talking
just
about?
be honest. Socks. Is that what
Look
you're
at,
calling it? Socks in your shorts.
it's like, I don't have a problem.
Fucking guy with a mustache
Yeah.
comes and befriends your parents and then takes you away for a weekend at a time.
Shit, he took me for the whole summer.
Dude,
Jesus.
And boy, did we have a good time.
do you understand how profoundly different what we grew up in? Do you understand how?
Oh, dude, yeah,
I have
for
kids
sure.
now, and it is
Yeah.
so different. None of this could happen. Anything we
No,
experience will never happen. Well, it'll happen again when the civilization collapses. We're gonna feel so normal. It's like, hey, we're back. Hey, you guys.
But see, here's the thing. There was a time. That wasn't, look, I don't know. Here's, again, when I say I'm blessed, that spirit, that's whatever that angel you want to talk about. Look, I had somebody looking over me. That's just the facts.
That's awesome.
I was able to travel through my life without major fucking, trauma. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm
Yeah.
very blessed. And so, yeah, like that. What were my parents thinking, dude?
See, dude, okay,
Yeah,
you understand your dad was part of 16 brothers and sisters. We're not,
Yeah.
how many total?
Yeah.
Okay, and your dad, I think your dad, like Aunt Rosie was given away to the
Well, my
orphanage.
dad was basically an orphan too. He went to a deaf school
Yeah,
at like third grade.
yeah.
And then he was, it's one of those things. Yeah. Anyway, that we can get on that whole subject. But growing up, I was lucky. I was lucky enough to be a part of these pieces in my life that shaped me. And then again, Commerce City, going back to the original question, I have good people in my life. I'm very blessed, dude. Very blessed. So,
No, yeah. It's just amazing, like the contrast of what we lived through. And I mean, and these are just little vignettes, these little snippets of all this stuff, um but it is, I think, as we kind of go through these podcasts, I think we're going to kind of can have this continuous theme of we were shaped like sharpened steel. I mean, all these experiences made us kind of like who we are. And it's not going to happen. I really think it's so unique, is so insanely unique, and it's not going to happen again. People are so different.
yeah.
Do you, do you, it's weird though how people forget a lot of times, like where we come from. Like I see. I mean, and it's mostly because of internet experience and stuff like that. But a lot of times I see people that we grew up with in high school and stuff like that, and then they post like just weird, like
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
like weird memes or something that is just totally antithetical to what we experience. It's like, don't you remember like high school? Like, a lot of times it's like, oh, it's so much better back in the day. Like, you went to Commerce City, Adams City High School. You know, there was murders. Like, she was
It was
dead.
the highest teen pregnancy in the country, or some shit like that. Like,
Yes, we had a nursery in the
yeah, we had
school where the
yeah.
girls would bring. I just remember I was sitting in science class. I was sitting next to the girl, and she's like, "My baby, I gotta go check my baby." I'm like, "We're sophomores. We're
Shit,
and like just like crazy, just crazy stuff." Hey, so kind of following up with my next kind of question, in a sense, is like, yeah, was there any kind of thought, like how you thought about yourself or how you thought about some certain experience, and then it changed over time, or you realized like I was full of shit, or I thought my way out of that, or I changed, like my example was how I thought about my father. Like, I really blame my father for a whole bunch of stuff, like, oh, he should have did this and he should have loved me better back there. My dad, he should have. But he was doing the best he could possibly. Oh my god!
Your father was pretty cool, Jeremy.
Yes, and and he slapped me around a bunch, but I deserved
it. All our fathers were a bit.
No, but I'm so grateful for changing that mythology I had in my head, because my dad was just doing the best. I mean, I remember like I would fight with my brother James all the time. Well, it wasn't James was he was just brutal. He was he was like, yeah, he was brutal, and he would piss me off so much I would just attack him, and James would knock the crap out of me. And then think about James just beat me up by black eyes and stuff like that, and my dad would just slap me around and call me a pussy. He's like, "You'd never win what are you gonna do when you get in a bar fight? Get your ass kicked."
And James was, not only was he older, but he was like the neighborhood bully.
James was.
Well, we both had brothers. That's the thing, though. We both had brothers that we fought with. We fought our brothers because they were bullies. But here's the role. But if you think about what you just said about who your father was, think about the pressures our older brothers had.
Yeah. They were the first. They even had to be the toughest. They had to be the toughest.
They were supposed to know these things. And then the middle child comes, and then we take that space, and they're still fighting for their fucking shit. Right? Yeah,
yeah, but we had the Madrids had Mike and Tito. When we went to high school, Mike and Tito, they were our uncles, Richie, and they went through high school, and they beat everybody up. They were
them and the Martinezes. Yeah.
They were brutal, and then Anthony and James, they came through, and they were the next tier. And those guys were just below like Leo and Marcelo. So the worst bullies. Well, Mike and Tito came along, and they were brutal. And
they fucked everything
Leo
up.
Lovato and Marcelo Salcido were those guys top tier bullies. They Marcelo got busted for Uzis in his trunk. These guys are brutal, and I think Marcelo is the one that murdered James Medina.
Probably.
But then below those were our brothers, Brad, Anthony, and James. Those guys were those are tough dudes, right?
You know what?
I'm the softest, biggest pussy around. It's like, I just need a hug. I need a hug. I want
love me. Just love me.
I want hugs.
You needed your own flea market white people to take you and love you in all sorts of ways.
Brad. I didn't have white people.
I took the only white people in Commerce City that take care of the one Mexican.
No, but did you guys have profound like epiphany change, some kind of change in your like, oh, this is how it is, and then something reverted?
Yeah, I have something I can share. And this has to do with you there, Jeremy Madrid.
Oh shit! I'm
I
sorry.
remember you.
You thought I was cool. You thought I was smart, and you're like,
I was like,
oh,
Jeremy, he knows everything.
Damn it!
this dude is.
You know, when he talks, you were my original Kelly who thinks he talks like he knows everything. No, no, no. You were
I
just
don't know.
you. When we went to the university, you know, we came from Commerce City and then we went to Fort Collins. And I remember it was somewhere like in the junior year. But we would have, you know, the best part about going to university is just hanging out on campus, just having dialogue with your friends and exploring air. You know, it was like the exploration of ideas and thoughts and perspectives, and it was just really like a thing. um but I remember one day it was springtime, and you started talking, Germ, about you were going off on one of your, you know, bigger ideas. You were always the big idea guy. And I just remember singing, like, it was like maybe it wasn't a change of ideas, but it was definitely a change of perspective for me, where you were saying, do you realize how lucky we are as Americans? With our passports, we can go anywhere we want in the whole world. Do you know how many people around the globe are not able to have that power? And we could do that. And I just was like, I it had never even occurred to me. Like, it was like you opened up the door for for the realm of possibilities that my life, you know, that my life experience could be. And
Everybody
after that, I
deserves
was
that.
like, yeah. And right after that, I started saying, I don't know if you remember me, Germ, but I wanted to speak Spanish, but I didn't want to go. I was like, oh, I want to go to Spain and learn to speak Spanish. Yeah, I want to go to Spain. And I started thinking, because that I had never even in my life thought that it would be. It's like if somebody said, you can go to Jupiter or Mars. It's a perfect example. It's like you think about these rich people who want to go to Mars, Elon Musk talking, but is it really in, are you guys going to Mars? It's like, no, it's like, it's what other people in other dimensions do. You know what I mean? And that's how the idea of traveling to Europe was for me. It was like Mars. It was like completely beyond like anything I could ever do. But then when Germ just, it just busted wide open, and I was like, I can do that. So that was a growing up in a way where I didn't even know. You know, I mean, I knew of Europe, but it was like blinders on. It was like I couldn't see over the fence of the wall to the neighbor's yard. And then, and slowly the university lifted my eyes above, and then Germ was like, why don't you just pop right on over there? And I ended up on the other side. Whoa.
Well, to bust up your mythology, that was all escapism. All that was to protect my the guy. I need a hug. I need a hug. So I just created that shell. Like that was all I had. It was like, oh, I can say some big words and do some things, and then that was just my protection. That's all it was. So that was, and I faked it until I kind of, I don't know if I made it, but I faked it until I got out of that need for that protection. So, no, I appreciate that. But yeah, that was, dude, I was hardcore faking it. And I learned from my mom because I saw her do welfare fraud. She'd go over there and she'd do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm like, I can fake it like that too. I'll just pretend I'm like, well, no, it wasn't conscious though. I wasn't thinking about faking it. It was just how, it was just kind of how unfolded. Hey, Richie, just to let people know, like after college, how many different countries did you go to after that? I just want, because people might be watching this and are like, oh well, man, Richie went from Colorado and he went to Commerce City and now he's in Commerce City. How many different countries did you go to?
Well, go to is I yeah. I've yeah. How many different places? Yeah. How many different places have I lived and
Okay,
worked?
lived. Yeah, yeah, that's a great.
Like
That's a
really, like spent a significant amount of time, not just traveling through because I traveled through a lot of different places. But no, I lived in Mexico for 3 years in different parts, and then I lived in Germany for almost a year, and then I lived in Barcelona for 2 years, and then I went to um, Thailand for 5 years, Malaysia for 7 months, and then London for a year, and then I lived in Norway for 4.5 years. Uh, and that's not counting the places I just traveled to and played music while I was traveling through. So that's just places that I made a significant impact of, just living, just trying to make my way through. And the only place that kicked my ass was Mexico City. I left with my tail between my legs. I couldn't make
really.
it. Yeah.
I thought Japan. You didn't last in Japan for too long either, right? Or
No, I mean I stayed in Japan for about 5 weeks, but I don't consider that living in Japan.
okay, I got you.
No, I didn't live. No, I'm saying anywhere that I lived is a 7, 8 months above. You know,
Brad, how many places did Richie take you kicking and screaming across the globe?
I didn't. Well, we didn't do much together.
Dude, is it time for that story? Because I think Matt Jack is fucking that's such a cool story. And you guys are so like you were so close to being some fucking big stuff and then Google comes and fucking blows that shit up.
What Mapjack is for those of you that don't know, but Mapjack is basically what Google Street View is, and it was before Google Street View was Google Street View. There was this, yeah. So there was this guy, this really smart guy who was a musician that was in Thailand. He was a good friend of mine named Bjorn. He was a genius, man. He was just really smart. But he came up with this idea of taking a building this camera that was 360, hooking it up to GPS,
It's
throwing
fucking
it
so
on top
cool,
of a
man.
car, and drive down the road and kind of map out with a 360 thing. Basically what Google Street View is. And he had this idea, and he got an angel investor, and then he
He was
asked me,
executing it. He was doing this shit,
oh
man.
yeah. Well, the thing was, to make a long story short, we got this angel investor to kind of map out all of San Francisco. So me and Brad drove every street in San Francisco, clocking
And that's
and
the
document it.
and that is the hub of all technology.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys did
So
it there first,
yeah,
and
we did
so you
that.
guys like talk about front runners. Like, just that's
Well,
nuts.
Well, we were just basically mules because, we were just driving, and I remember here's a funny story, right? So we're doing this high tech website, like 360 imagery, and I remember I didn't know fucking shit. I could barely work a computer. That's how I learned computers. I didn't know. Bjorn sat us down and explained us what a file was. a difference between a file and a folder, and that's how that's how fucking. And then I remember in San Francisco, right? I'm taking all these pictures. I'm just like doing my job, like I am fucking taking this, capturing this thing. He just showed us what to do, right? And then these high tech like fucking guys that were, in I was it was near Google. It was near Google,
This is
and
you
they
guys are
asked me,
brushed with becoming multi-millionaires. This
yeah.
is you guys are probably talking to people who are billionaires right now. You're probably, hey, dude, can you
Well,
start
this
my computer up? I can't
Yeah,
get
it's
it. He's
just
like,
like, can I get on my internet with your computer? No, so no, they, but these guys asked me. They were asking me questions, and they were like techie dudes, right? They were like tech bros. And then they started asking. They were like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, we're putting up a website and this and that." And he's like, "Oh, what's your ULR?" That was a little too fucking techie for me. Because I was trying to put on an image like, yeah, the thing's called MapJack. We're putting up some stuff like that. And he's like, oh, great, great. What's your ULR? And I was like, 5. What the fuck? I was like, nah, what's that? And he's like, then they both looked at each other like, what the fuck? And I was just like, and then they finally they go, what's the name of the website? Talking to me like I was stupid. I was like, oh, yeah, it's called MapJack.
and then they got on their phones and said, "Hey Google,
Yeah.
you should buy this place because these
But the
guys
end of
have
this,
fucking no
the
clue."
yeah, the end of the story is we were we just finished San Francisco, and Bjorn and our angel investor were excited because they found out that there was going to be a mapping conference, like the World Mapping Conference, where they go and everybody talks the latest mapping technology. And they went to the conference and they were just nobodies. They were just like, they didn't know shit about really anything else. And they showed up, and Google, the monster Google, had decided that they wanted to do a presentation as part of the whole conference. And they said, we're announcing this new fantastic thing, yeah, technology that we're coming up with, and we have, we're just starting to lift it off the ground. And it was fucking Google Street View. And then, yeah, we were like a year ahead. And then the Bjorn and Randy went and talked to Google, and those guys were like, what the fuck? They're like, how many people are on your team? You guys did all this of it? And they go, 3. And they could not fucking believe it because they said, we got 50 people on this and we haven't got half as much. Because Bjorn was really fucking smart and could put all that shit together with just a few people. Me and
And and,
Brad.
and Brad, Richie fails to tell you who the angel investor was. His name was Jeffrey Epstein. Uh,
Bad dude.
I'm joking.
Jeffrey. Oh, Jeff.
No,
He's like,
no.
I want you to map out this island for me.
No, but Brad, did it end with? Didn't this whole journey end with you just kind of like there? You're waiting for a call to get it going. You were at some house somewhere. Is my memory okay? Richie should have had that attitude before. No.
Yeah, that tells the perspective of our personalities.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Rock and roll, bro. Dude, live the dream, man. Yeah, yeah. It just not run well. Not run well. Because you could do all kinds of stuff. You can do internal things because they start. You could do high end properties. There's all kinds of stuff. They've taken it all different places. So, I'm going to stop recording. Hey, yeah. Till next time, you guys.
Right.